Hello again, Vinyl community. This is Matt, and this is a response video to Vinyl God. That's Ben. He's a 10-year-old vlogger, I guess you would call it. Who he does a lot of videos about music and a lot of stuff from the 80s. And we had a little back and forth about ABBA. You know, the group ABBA, where he had shown some of his records, and he had mentioned that he had some ABBA records. And I posted a comment to say that, oh, hey, yeah, ABBA, that's pretty cool. I'm thinking about doing a video about some ABBA stuff. Well, he beat me to it earlier today. He posted a video and showed his ABBA collection, and so he kind of got one over me a little bit by beating me to it. But so this is a response video just to show the ABBA albums that I have. I don't have quite as many as Ben does. But yeah, let's get started. Okay, first off, we have ABBA self-titled. Ben was saying that this was not one of his favorite ABBA albums. He kind of rated it as mediocre, but this actually is one of my favorite ABBA albums. But my opinion of it is colored a little bit by nostalgia. My parents had this record when I was a kid, which meant that I had this record when I was a kid. I ended up playing it to death pretty much. And I remember it. I had to seek this out. I couldn't find it anywhere, like in record stores. Never saw it in a thrift store, and so I eventually just found it on eBay. It was kind of expensive. I remember, for some reason, it was priced pretty high. So I waited for a few months, and finally I got it at a half reasonable price. And I think it's great. I mean, I like the let's take it out the sleeve here so you can see it without all the reflection. I like the cover of it. I like this whole kind of motel lobby thing going on in the back. It reminds me a little bit of Hotel California by the Eagles, with the whole hotel scene. And it's got some great tracks on it. I mean, it starts off with Mamma Mia, which you could make a fair case as being ABBA's greatest ever track. It's definitely up there. It's one of their biggest hits, for sure. We also have Hey Hey Helen, which is an okay song. Then a little bit of a hidden gem with Tropical Loveland. It's a weird, almost reggae-influenced pop song. It's really great. I like it a lot. We also have SOS, which in my opinion is one of the greatest pop records ever recorded. It's as far as pop music goes, it's really a work of art. It's an amazingly well-constructed track. We then get Man in the Middle, which is a little bit of a throwaway track, but Bang a Boomerang, which is a surprisingly decent song. Side 2, we have I Do, I Do, I Do, I Do, I Do. We have Rock Me. We then have Intermezzo number 1, I've Been Waiting for You, and the excellent So Long. So I think, again, you know, everyone's entitled to their opinion. Ben is certainly entitled to his, to say that the self-titled ABBA is not one of the better ABBA albums. But for me, because of the nostalgia, because it does contain several really strong tracks, I think it is one of the better ones. Okay, I also have ABBA Greatest Hits Volume 1. This is a gatefold. I always like this, both the inside and the outside actually. So the inside opens up vertically like that, and then the outside, you hold it like that, and you can see them, both couples, kind of sitting on a park bench. And I think if you have this, and if you have ABBA Greatest Hits Volume 2, which I'll show you in just a second, you have close to everything you need for ABBA, to a certain extent. Although you do miss a few of their later tracks. But I think their later stuff is not as good as their earlier stuff for the most part. But still. So the track listing for ABBA Greatest Hits Volume 1, we have SOS, which of course was on the self-titled album. Here's Your Brother. Ring Ring, which was really one of the very first hits. That may have even been their first hit in Sweden, but I won't swear to it. I think I read that. We then have Another Town, Another Train, which again I think is a little bit of a hidden gem. It's a little bit of a quirky song with a funny tune to it, but it's really catchy, like a lot of ABBA songs. We then have Honey Honey, another terrific pop song, So Long, and Mamma Mia, of course, which again was on the ABBA self-titled album. Side 2, I Do. People Need Love, Waterloo, Nina Pretty Ballerina, Bang a Boomerang, the really underrated Dance While the Music Still Goes On, which is a fantastic track. You just don't get pop music like this anymore, not really. And then we finish off with Fernando, which is, it's a good song. I always kind of associated Fernando and Chiquitita as being companion tracks for some reason. I guess partly because they have a sort of Spanish influence to them, like with the names. But they're also slower songs than a lot of other tracks compared to other tracks that ABBA put out. Okay, next up we have ABBA Greatest Hits Volume 2. This is a better album than Volume 1. I definitely agree with Ben about that. This contains more hits on it, and if you had to get one or the other, I would definitely go with this one. Again, this is a gatefold. It's not as interesting though as the other one, like it's just that. And the inside's not as interesting either. It's just okay. But we have a ton of hit songs on here. Gimme 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 a Man After Midnight, Knowing Me, Knowing You, Take a Chance on Me, which I have playing right now, Money Money Money, Rock Me, Eagle, and Angel Eyes. That's side 1. Side 2 we have Dancing Queen, Does Your Mother Know, Chiquitita, which kind of a joke that you if you forget the name of the song, just remember chicken tikka, like a curry, chicken tikka. I don't know. Summer Night City, I Wonder, The Name of the Game, and Thank You for the Music, which I think that's a really appropriate song to finish up with. Thank You for the Music. It's great track. So you get some of the biggest songs in terms of chart placement. Take a Chance on Me and Dancing Queen, which was one of the biggest hits, of course. Gimme 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 a Man After Midnight, which Madonna famously sampled, of course. And yeah, Greatest Hits Volume 2. It's a really excellent album. Next up we have Voulez-Vous. I think I found this at a thrift store. In fact, the next 3 albums that I have were all thrift store purchases. And Voulez-Vous is a great album, actually. It's got a lot of good tracks on it. There's the back. The back's plain, but so we get As Good as New, Voulez-Vous, the title track, I Have a Dream, Angel Eyes, and The King Has Lost His Crown. It's kind of funny that I Have a Dream. I'm sorry, not I Have a Dream. Voulez-Vous is not on ABBA's Greatest Hits Volume 2. I don't know why that is. That's a kind of a funny thing. I guess that I was gonna say I guess that Voulez-Vous came out earlier, the album, or came out later, I'm sorry, but I don't think it did, because Angel Eyes is on Greatest Hits Volume 2, and Angel Eyes is on the Voulez-Vous album, so I don't know why that is, but anyway. Let's see. So side A, we finish off with The King Has Lost His Crown. Side B, we have Does Your Mother Know, If It Wasn't for the Nights, Chiquitita, Lovers Live a Little Longer, and Kisses of Fire. Side A is definitely much stronger than Side B, but it's still an excellent overall album. Definitely one of their better ones. Okay, next up we have Super Trouper, and this is now getting much later in their career. We're well into the 80s now. This is 1980. And this also has some good stuff on it. We start off with the title track, Super Trouper. Big hit, #1 in the UK. But again, for some reason, it's not on Greatest Hits Volume 2, even though The Winner Takes It All is, and The Winner Takes It All is on Super Trouper. Go figure, I don't know. We also get On and On and On, Adante, Adante, and Me and I. Side B, we have Happy New Year, Our Last Summer, The Piper, Lay All Your Love on Me, and The Way All Friends Do. Lay All Your Love on Me is a fantastic pop disco track. I think I'm correct in saying that it was released on 12-inch single and maybe not on 7-inch single. I'm not 100% sure on that. and something just popped into my mind about that. But I do remember it was released on 12-inch. It was a little bit unusual for the time. And then finally, the last record that I have is The Visitors. This is also the one that's in the poorest condition. We have some ring wear up here. Although the record itself is in decent condition. This is another thrift store find. For me, this is easily their worst album. There are no big hits on here because, and I think this is ABBA's final album, I think. This is from 1981, so it's at least close to their final album. And, you know, of course, it does have a few songs that charted on it. It's not of the same caliber as their earlier stuff, and I think the cracks were starting to show by this point, the cracks in the band, and it gets reflected in the music that they put out. But we start off with The Visitors, title track, Head Over Heels. That I think did chart. When All Is Said and Done and Soldiers. Side B, Let the Music Speak. One of Us, which might be the best track on the album. Two for the Price of One, Slipping Through My Fingers, and Like an Angel Passing Through My Room. So yeah, this is definitely, in terms of the albums that I have, this is definitely the weakest one by some distance. But, you know, I saw it in a thrift store, it was a couple of bucks. It's ABBA, I had to buy it. And finally, I do have one 8-track and one CD. I do have Greatest Hits Volume 2 on 8-track. I bought this recently just for kicks. I don't have that many 8-tracks. I did an earlier video where I showed my collection. It wasn't really showing off, I don't have that many of them, but where I showed my 8-track collection, and this was a recent acquisition, just because it was cheap, it was on eBay, I wanted to get it. And then finally I do have ABBA Gold on CD. This again was a thrift store purchase. I found this in a Goodwill. Only cost a couple of bucks. Had to have it. I wouldn't mind more ABBA Gold. I haven't seen that yet, and I'm not inclined to hunt for it on eBay or Discogs, to be honest with you. I like ABBA a lot, and in fact, if I had to rank them, they would easily be in my top 20 artists of all time. They'd probably come close to my top 10 as well. I mean, you know, they're not going to be above the Beatles or Pink Floyd or Zeppelin or anything, but I think in many ways they were close to the pinnacle of pop music. They were as good as it got back in the day, and I'm not really sure they've been bettered, not in that genre. You know, things have evolved since then. The 80s had a lot of good pop music, that's for sure, but for this type of pop disco music that they put out, I really can't think of anyone better. So yeah, that's the ABBA collection. Thanks guys for watching. I appreciate all your comments. If you'd like to subscribe, that would be very much appreciated. And until next time, alright, thank you. Bye.